It's Wednesday, April 8th, 2025. What a wild day in the markets. We have so much to talk about, so much happening in the markets, the economy, socially, politically. It just goes on and on and on. We've never lived in such a chaotic and exciting time. So feel free to comment down below. Please like this video, share this video, and if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I want to start with this first article, and we will talk about these markets. We have to talk about the tariffs, but I want to start with this first one. Mortgage rates slingshot higher as tariff uncertainty roils markets. So we are looking at a 30-year fixed rate today at 6.85%. I think we're going back above 7%. And you know, I saw a few comments last night saying that they believed I was trying to steal this house from somebody because I made a lower price offer. And I believe 100%. If you're going to go out, make an offer on a house, it is minimal 30% off listing price. And I'm going to tell you why. Because homes are completely overpriced. When I look at a house that, for instance, let's take for example, a house that back in 2020 was $250,000. And today it's $700,000. When I see homes going up 100, 150, 200% in a matter of 4 or 5 years, or really a matter of 2 or 3 years, because many people are still pricing homes back at 2022 when all the FOMO was taking place. Now look, if you're in the market to buy a house, you can pay whatever you want to pay. I don't overpay. I'm not buying into the FOMO. It's over. I'm not paying 2022 prices. I don't think you should either, but you could pay whatever you want to pay. But I know how to do a BPO. I know how to appraise a property. I've sold many, many properties. I did BPOs for banks for a couple years. So I know what a house is worth, especially in the house I'm looking at that needs $200,000 in structural repairs and upgrades. There's no way I'm being taken advantage of. So people can say I'm sitting here trying to take advantage of a seller. I will say this, they're doing very, very well, especially what they paid for the house 10 years ago. They're doing very, very well. But I have to take the risk now of going into an economic collapse, a housing collapse on top of that, and then shelling out $200,000 in repairs. So again, if you're buying a house, you can pay whatever you want to pay. When I'm buying a house and it's my money, I'm going to pay what I think I should pay. I'm not paying FOMO prices. I'm not paying 2022, and I'm certainly not going to be taken advantage of either. And I think that there's a nice meeting point in the middle where everybody wins. And I think that if you're in this market right now, you have to be very, very conscious that we are heading into a time where we could see massive stagflation, bond collapse, stock market collapse, and a housing collapse. So be careful what you're paying for and make sure you're not paying 21, 22 prices, because if you are, you're an absolute fool and you are the one being taken advantage of. So I wanted to clear the air with that for all the people out there thinking about buying a home and what they should offer. The buyers now are in charge, in my opinion. Before, it was okay when the sellers were robbing the buyers. You know, if you want a home 50 or 100,000 above the listing price, or you know, get in line, that was okay. But now, as the buyers begin to have the power and the advantage, now all of a sudden you're taking advantage of somebody. Look, the buyers have been taking advantage for years with all this FOMO. And I just believe in a free, fair market. It is worth what the market says it is worth. Why did 71% of real estate agents across the nation last year do no deals? Zero. 71% of all real estate agents in America last year did 0 deals. And how come it's going to be worse this year? You know why? Because homes are overpriced and mortgage rates are back to normal. This is normal. 6.85%, 7%, completely normal. What's not normal is when a home is going up 20, 30, 50% a year. That's not normal. And I'm sorry, I'm just not going to buy into the FOMO, and I don't think you should either. White House says 104% tariff on China will take effect Wednesday. That will happen at, what, 12:01 a.m. tonight. Now, this morning, woke up, Dow Jones was up around 1,300 points. NASDAQ was up, all of it plunged. At one point, the Dow plunged around 900 points. From 13 down to 900, closed 320 down. NASDAQ plunged, closed down 335 points. These are massive swings. I've never seen anything. I mean, another 2,000 plus point swing today, ladies and gentlemen. As I make this video, gold's up 780, sitting almost at 3,000. Silver down 20 cents, just a little little bit over $30. Bitcoin down 1,300, sitting at 76.9 thousand, and the 10-year bond yield, 4.29%. This thing is heating up. Again, 4.29%. This is not good for the housing market. This is not good if you need to get a mortgage. And you know, in my situation, I offered all cash, by the way, and typically from many of the deals that I put together over the years, cash deals always got a discount. Quick close, as is, no contingencies. You sell the property as is, you typically got a little bit of a discount. But sellers are not really versed in what is happening. Sellers really are not educated right now. And I don't know if it's their agents that are representing them who are not educating people, but if you are trusting an agent and they're not educating you with what's happening right now in these markets, they're going to cost you a lot of money, because all you're going to do is chase the market down. Ambrose, Evans, Pritchard, if you think it's alarming now, just wait till Trump to wreck the bond market. Who wants to buy U.S. debt now? We've been seeing countries just dumping bonds like crazy. And the buyer of last resort is and will be the Fed. So keep an eye on the bond market. We're going to see massive destruction. You know, I really was hopeful, and it started looking good today, that many of the countries are coming to the table. The markets reacted to that very positive this morning. And as soon as the administration put that 104% tariff on China, man, things plunged very quickly. 104%. We are definitely now in a fight with China. This is not going to be taken lightly. China is a world superpower. They are an economic force to be reckoned with. And America, remember, we don't make much here. We're very dependent on China. So this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And I read a really good article today by Pastor Lindsey William on Steve Quayle. And it's titled, "The Elite Explained Why China is the Big One. Who was it that made China?" Great article. If you get 10 or 15 minutes, read this. I'm going to give you some of the highlights here. It asks, who financed all those buildings in China? Who financed all those projects in China? Who took all the industries from the U.S. to China? When China collapses, what is going to happen to U.S. banks? I think people are really underestimating this trade war with China. And look, something has to be done here, because China is eating our lunch. And I just want to put it out there. If we stick with this trade war, if we really get into this fight and we stick to it, it is going to be extremely painful for everybody. For everybody. It goes on to say, this could not only affect America, but change the face of the world. The elite did this on purpose. Now a collapse is underway, and it's going to affect your family and the US dollar. China is on the verge of collapse. China has all the major industry. For instance, you have Caterpillar, Boeing, all the clothing companies, all the shoe companies, television companies, appliances, hardware, all the hardware at hardware stores. Where's it coming from? It's coming from China. We don't have any of this. All these companies had to give trade secrets in order to do business in China. They had to give up copyrights. They don't pay pensions. They don't pay retirements. They pay slave labor, ladies and gentlemen. China will collapse at some point, and American companies will go bankrupt. Very possible. I think we're on that road right now. I don't think it can be avoided. I think we are past the point of no return. Now, to answer your question, who made China great? American greedy corporations. They sold us out for cheap slave labor, bigger profits, and stashed the money abroad. This is getting very scary. And I know there's people out there, oh, this is negative, this is doom and gloom. You got to go somewhere else, because this is reality now. And every American better wake up, smell the coffee, and be preparing for a reckoning we have never seen before. This could be much worse than the Great Depression. This is getting very, very scary. You should be scared, you should be concerned, and you should be taking some sort of action. What action is that? Well, maybe getting out of the system, maybe owning some real money like gold and silver, maybe learning how to defend yourself, maybe getting debt paid off, maybe buying extra food, putting extra water away, maybe getting right with God, and just putting some discipline and structure in your life. And one of the best things you could do right now is just be awake, aware, and educated to what is going on. Don't be a fool. Don't be a sheeple. Don't be a zombie. Be educated. Be aware. Be awake to what is going on right now. That's one of the best things you can do, and be walking close to God. This could get very ugly. I hope a miracle takes place and this is all avoided. Do you really think China's just going to cave? Do you really think China's going to cave? What if they go, hey, we're going to raise pharmaceutical prices 200% to America? Just one thing they could do immediately. All those shelves at Walmart, Kohl's, everything is coming from China. All those tools in the hardware store, China. Everything at Home Depot and Lowe's, coming from China. I don't think people really understand how messy this could get. We could just continue to live in this fantasy and allow China to get more and more powerful. But we have an administration now that sees the threat, that sees the overtake of this country. And if we don't do something right now, if we don't stand our ground right now, it's going to be over. China knows what's going on. And this administration knows what's going on. And now we're going to put extreme pressure on them. They're going to put extreme pressure on us. And now it will be a war of attrition. And I will say this. I think China has the advantage of winning this. I really, really do. They're stronger. They're more dedicated. They're more loyal. Americans are weak. They give up easy. They don't want to be uncomfortable. They're not used to being uncomfortable. Remember, for many, many years, everybody got a trophy. First, second, third, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th place. Everybody got a trophy. Everybody's been glued to their phones. Everybody wants to be a social media star. Nobody ever wants to feel the pain and deal with reality. Everybody just believed that nothing bad could ever happen to the economy, nothing bad could happen to America, the dollar, nothing bad could ever happen. And you're a fool to believe that, because just over the decades, with what we gave China, it was only a matter of time before this happened, before we began to feel the repercussions. And at some point, China's not going to want our monopoly money. The avalanche has really just started. Credit market cracks raise fears of bankruptcy wave. We're seeing more personal bankruptcies, more corporate bankruptcies. These banks are going to tighten up, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to tighten up. It's getting more difficult to get a credit card. The amount of credit they're giving people, they're tightening that up too. It's getting much more difficult to get a mortgage on a house, to buy a car. This is all getting more difficult. Credit is drying up. And when it does, it is going to seize up business as we know it. This is going to get very, very scary. This entire economy has been propped up with cheap, easy money, millions of credit cards, buy now, pay later plans, payday loans, you name it. It's been propped up with credit. And now that it's all tightening up, people are going to really feel the squeeze. And the concern that I have is so many people have been so misled, so delusional, living like zombies, living in their own little personal bubble. They have no idea what is about to happen, and they have absolutely zero preparations for what is about to happen. So get ready for people to be knocking at your door at some point, because they're going to need your food, they're going to need your security, they're going to need your housing, they're going to need your comfort and direction to save them. The stock market will go down 80% when this is over, says bearish investor Mark Spitzengel. Spitzengel, is that right? Spitzengel? I'm probably massacring that name. But anyways, Mark says people are going to feel a lot of pain. He says that this is not Armageddon yet, but that will come in time. Get ready for Armageddon. This may not be it right now, but it may be around the corner. It could be 6 months away. It could be 6 days away. It could be a year away. Nobody really knows. But Mark Spitzengel says something big is coming. And again, this is why I'm not paying list price for anything. I'm not paying full price for anything, and I don't think you better either, because if he's even partially right, 80%, what do you think a house is worth tomorrow? What do you think a piece of land is worth? What do you think an ounce of gold or an ounce of silver is going to be worth? So be very, very careful out there, ladies and gentlemen. If you're making any big purchases, be very, very careful, and know that there is a economic, financial Armageddon right around the corner. And so if you buy something today, you're taking the chance that, you know, a few months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, that piece of property could be worth a lot less. I saw this movie back in 2006 and 7, and then when 2008 hit, we saw things we never thought humanly possible in these markets, in the housing market, in commercial real estate. And commercial real estate should be a wake-up call to everybody too, the numbers that we're seeing there. But look, again, we're in a housing collapse right now. Things are not selling. Agents are going broke. Mortgage companies are going broke. So to the people out there that want to pay full price, you go right ahead. The smart money is not going to be paying full price. And I'm sorry if somebody overpaid in 2021, 2022, and they're going to take a massive haircut. They should have thought about that. They bought homes sight unseen. They didn't get appraisals. They got bamboozled into the FOMO. And, you know, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's it. Last article. Zelensky warns many China soldiers are on Russian front lines, 2 captured in shock escalation. So we have China and Russia teaming up. And what we've done with Russia, with the sanctions and how we treated them, we have forced them into the hands of China. And now you have 2 world superpowers. Ukraine is finished. Any way you want to chalk this up, it doesn't matter. My advice to the U.S. is get out of this thing. Stop giving them anything. It is done. Zelensky does not want peace. He does not want to come to the table. He is finished. Ukraine, unfortunately, is finished. I hate war. I have no dog in this fight. I'm done seeing young and old Ukrainians die, and young and mainly younger Russians dying on the battlefield in Russia. And now Chinese and God knows who else is in this war at this point. Ukraine has brought in people from Central and South America, mercenaries. So you got people from all over the world over there fighting and losing their lives. And we have financed much of this, most of this. I'm done. Ukraine is over. We need to get out of this thing quickly. We should not be attached to this any which way, period. It is finished. Nothing good is going to come out of this for America, only bad. Let these people sort it out. It's none of my business. It's none of your business. It's none of America's business. Most people in America, I can tell you right now, if I walked down the street and I pulled out a map and I said, tell me where Ukraine is, 99 out of 100 would not be able to locate it. Yet they still believe that they should be sending their tax dollars over there. They have no idea what is going on. They have no idea what this is all about. They just believe because they saw it on TV that we should be supporting this. I'm not supporting this war. I hope that you're not. We need to get out. We need to stop going bankrupt over these wars. Countries are just going to have to, you know, handle their own business just like we had to handle our own business, and that's it. So please comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on any of this. Things are accelerating extremely quickly. Asian and European markets tonight should be very interesting. What we wake up to tomorrow with the U.S. markets should be very, very interesting. I guess most people out there are just going to keep buying the dip. Be very, very careful because, like this gentleman says, this market could go down 80%. That's the dip I would probably get into this market at. You know, 80%. People are going to keep buying the dip, and at some point, this dip's just not going to come back. This market is still completely overpriced. The housing market is overpriced. The auto market, the RV, all of this stuff is overpriced. We need this thing to shake out. We don't need cheap money. We need cheaper prices. We need prices to come back to reality. Until then, this economy is just going to be flat dead until prices come down and people begin to make real wages. And this is not going to get fixed in a couple months, ladies and gentlemen. So hunker down. Don't lose your job. Be preparing. Be walking close to God. Get stronger. Get faster. Get more educated. Get more awake. That's all I can say right now. Be safe out there. God bless. Take care.